on blast.
Sheldon, I was just waking up in the morning. Gotta thank God. I don't know about today. It seems kind of odd. How can we not love an episode of The Challenge that starts with Ice Cube? Already my song of the episode. I don't need to hear any other songs, Sheldon. It's all downhill from here.
You just mentioned it on our last episode about why you think people really enjoy the show. And
music.
I mean, when you just keep starting episodes with bangers, it's just proving your point, man. It's just proving your point.
I'm John Chidley Hill.
And I am Sheldon Alexander. And you know what? Today was a good day.
It was a good day. This is You Killed It, the podcast about missing much music. Shout out to Rick the Temp. So, your boy...
I'm just going to let that one go. I'm just going to let
your
that
boy,
one.
Derrick K.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we could just call him Derrick because he is solo dolo Derrick now. Is excited that two of his friends in Kahada and Jody have life shields.
Yep.
And there is an alliance, a strong alliance of MJ,
Yes.
Darrell, Kahada, Derrick, and Brad forming this clear lines, and MJ is making it explicit.
Yeah.
But he's making it explicit loud enough that Nehemiah, who's standing just outside the room, can hear. I don't think Nehemiah needs to be told, but it's good to have your suspicions confirmed.
Yes, correct. It was a confession. It was that old Chris Rock bit, and I know I keep bringing up Chris Rock, but it's like, your woman knows that you're cheating, but she wants a confession. It'll be okay if you just tell me. It'll be okay if you just tell me. Straight lies. But the point remains, Nehemiah runs back to his crew, which is Latarian and Steve, and then Tech comes around a bit later, but basically their crew again comes down to who's in their room, which I keep finding to be a strange way to form your alliance, just solely based on who's in your room. But Nehemiah, Latarian, Steve, Tech, and Melinda, who I didn't realize was in their room as well, but that's their squad. Whose alliance would you rather join as currently put together? The Nehemiah, Latarian, Steve, Tech, and Melinda, or the MJ, Darrell, Kohada, Derrick, and Brad?
The latter. The MJ, Darrell, Kohada, Derrick, and Brad. And I'm going to be real. I think I like the people in Nehemiah's alliance better. Like, I think I would hang out with them better. However, I don't think Nehemiah understands how this game works. Like, Nehemiah keeps saying things where I'm like, I don't think, like, after we see the breakdown of these two alliances, Nehemiah has sort of a confrontation with Derrick when they're playing pool, where he's basically like, I don't get it, man. You're supposed to be like Diesel Derrick. You're supposed, like, I want to see you get into the elimination because, like, that's who I grew up watching, which is bonkers insulting because they're about the same age. Yeah. It just like, no, Nehemiah. That's not this. And I said this on the last episode of You Killed It. This is not how the challenge works. I do not like Derrick. You know this. Our listeners know this. But Derrick's right. The name of the game is don't go into the elimination if you don't have to. And like Nehemiah, this like honor, prove your worth. No, you don't get marks for like scale of competition in life. Like you're just trying. Yeah, you're just trying to get by. Like, what are you doing, Nehemiah?
Yeah, I still want to know, and I'm with Darrell, right? I want to know what the real deal is with Derrick and Nehemiah, like what the issue is. And if we're just, I know I make too many sports references on this pod, but there's the old joke about whenever you hear like two teammates in whatever sport not getting along, chances are it's about money or women. So I wonder what the issue really is between Derrick and Nehemiah, because it seems strange. And I wonder because there's something there.
I think they should just kiss. I think that might be it.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
Actually,
would they be able to do it from heights?
That's a good question. But before we get to the daily, I do want to say, again, you seem to be enjoying this season. I'm less sold, which is different from last season where I was really into All Stars at first.
I liked this episode. Did you not like this episode?
I liked this episode, but I don't like this season. And one of the things I have to point is no one's hooking up.
Oh, that's true.
Last season, everybody was hooking up, and it was great. Showing people in their 30s and 40s can still get it. No one's getting it in this house, Sheldon. And that's a disappointment to me.
I got you. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, right? I think that it's been an interesting season, but you're right. That element is not there at all. Who knows if that'll change? But I feel like most of the people are married. But whatever. I enjoyed this episode, but again, I enjoyed it because it's a trivia challenge. And I think like upping the stakes of being that high and you're falling 10 stories, like that looked super scary to me. I don't know how I would react to that at all, to be honest.
Yeah, at first I was like, it's not so bad. But I was like, you know what? No, like I get freaked out on roller coasters. Like I wouldn't like it. And I did like that TJ checked in on Darrell, Katie, and Casey, who are all known for hating heights. Mm-hmm. And Katie starts to freak out after getting on the ledge and begs to get off. And I felt bad for her. First of all, that like TJ tried to like keep her out there for a minute, and she's like, "No, like I don't care. Like put me into elimination. Like it's not worth this panic attack." And I'm not prone to panic attacks, but I can sympathize with her, being like, "Yeah, you know what? If you're like in such a state, like what are we even doing here, right? Like it's better than like she was so freaked out that if she stayed up there, she would have immediately gotten something wrong and she would have fallen. And like she doesn't want to fall, and I can respect that. Like I don't want to make light of this, but like she's of an age, as are we, that she could have a heart attack if she's sufficiently freaked out. So like let's not test that, you know.
Yeah, to me, at a certain point, it's kind of like, okay, well, why are you coming on the show? Because you know that it ends up at the same spot, and you're not going to make it past that point. So unless you get over that fear before coming on the next season, I mean, maybe she's just happy getting the appearance fees or however many episodes she does last. But free trip to Mexico. At some point, like, sure, right? But at least last season, there was a storyline of her and Trishelle. So at least that provided some like comic relief or some entertainment or some content for an episode. This season is just like, okay, what are we even doing here?
I agree. But we got to give a shout out to Casey, who went up there, no problem. And I mean, we're going to talk about how great she did. But, you know, she didn't seem to show much fear. And as always, I can't say that I love the trivia as much as TJ does, but this was super entertaining.
This was entertaining, and it was funny because, you know, obviously there are some things like they're asking like name SEC teams, and I thought that was funny, but I found it funny because I was like, Kendall's first pick was BYU. It just seemed super random. Like of all the teams, like because I was thinking like if you just said like Michigan, it's wrong, but at least it's like Michigan's a pretty like prominent team. Like, you know, you said Notre Dame, it's wrong, but at least it's Ohio, a pretty like prominent. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that she went to BYU, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like I get Alabama, unless you know, like whatever. But I was just saying, like, your first guess to be BYU, like, are you from the area? Like, is that it? Like, that was just random to me. But what other ones stood out to you?
I always enjoy the when they ask challenge-based trivia, because like you'd think that would be in everyone's wheelhouse, right? Yeah. And like some of the people, their answer was themselves.
And Derrick said it just like a jerk because, well, what else would you expect?
Derrick is the worst.
Do you know what's funny? You know what would have been the best, though? Because Derrick was like, you're looking at him, Tej. It would have been funny if TJ was like, sorry, that is an incorrect answer. There's never been anyone on the challenge named You're Looking at Him. Incorrect answer, Derrick. Did the whole Jeopardy thing, right? Like, that would have been amazing. And then he drops off. I would have done that. If I was the producers, I would have done that just for the joke. Because it's not like it would have mattered. He wasn't the first one down, right?
No. What's funny is that at one point, Jody has also uses herself as an answer. Mm-hmm. But the way she said it, she did not come off bad, right? Yeah. Like, it was basically the same question, and she didn't brag. It was just Jody, me. Like, she wasn't. It wasn't. You're looking at him. It was just like me. I did that. Yeah. Which, true facts. So I like that. I enjoyed MJ confusing New Orleans with the state. Mm-hmm. I also. This is. I don't know if you're going to share this opinion. Something that I always find weird about comparing Canada and the United States is that our population is so concentrated in cities. I mean, our population is specifically concentrated in one city. But I'm always surprised at how small American cities are. So, the question of, there's only, I forget what the number was, 20 American cities with more than 1 million people. Yeah. And Atlanta was not one of them. I would have for sure thought Atlanta had more than 1 million people. Part of it is that in the States, more than here in Canada, they have huge suburban or bedroom communities. So Atlanta proper is less than 1 million, but the greater Atlanta area is 5 million or whatever. And I'm not familiar with those intricacies, right? Just actual Los Angeles is small, but the Los Angeles area is huge, sort of thing. But I'm always weirded out when it turns out that Boston has I think it's 600,000 people. That's so small to me, but Boston is Boston, it's But that's a John thing. I don't know if you have that experience as well.
No. I've found it very strange too, in the way that we think about it. And again, we're in Toronto, and you kind of mistaken the fact that, in terms of cities and population, you don't think of Toronto off the top of your head as being, bigger than most American cities, right? So it's very funny. It's very funny in that sense. I did laugh at the way that they cut it. The 20 biggest restaurant chains and Denny's. I know that wasn't the first answer, but they cut it that way. And it was just wait, what? There's no way that was the first guess. That. But also, I bet you they didn't want to say McDonald's or say whatever other sponsorship, because that would cost money. And they do stuff with Burger King. Right? Yeah. We've seen that on the challenge in the past. So it kind of made sense why they would cut it that way. Someone's like, no, we can't say that because we've done deals with Burger King before. Right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was your girl, Tina. I don't remember which one it was that she fell off on, but she falls and she just screamed, "Look at my camel toe." And I wrote down, I'm like, is she a real person? Is she just doing the gimmick? Is she doing the bit? What's going on?
I was thinking on this episode that spending time with Tina in real life must be a trip. Because she seems to just put her stream of consciousness out there in the world. She just seems to say whatever is on her mind. And sometimes I think it'd be very annoying. I think other times it'd be really funny. So I appreciated that. I also appreciated Casey wins despite never winning. This is the first time she's ever won an individual challenge. And despite her immense fear of heights, she did it. She won. And Steve also won. So a big day for the underdogs. It was a good day for the underdogs. So
my question for you, though, that final came down to John A. and Casey going back and forth on Harry Potter. Are you a Harry Potter person?
Unbelievably, no.
I'm actually quite surprised at that.
I know. So I don't dislike Harry Potter. I'm not going to hate on Harry Potter. But I have not read any of the books.
Okay.
And my reasoning was always that I wanted to read the books with my theoretical children. To the best of my knowledge, I have no kids. so I haven't read Harry Potter yet. I've seen like a couple of the movies, and I'm certainly like familiar. I have a fun fact for you though about your boy John Chidley Hill.
Okay.
I once was dumped by a woman, an adult woman, and she specifically, in her like little breakup monologue, cited the fact that I had said that if I was in a house at Hogwarts, I'd be in Slytherin. And she like said she could not date someone who would self-identify as being in Slytherin. I am so serious right now, Sheldon. I know you're
not
laughing.
Even speaking English. I don't even know what you just said.
There are people right now listening to this podcast, both laughing and outraged of what I just said. So just like shorthand, Slytherin is like the bad guy like group in Hogwarts.
Okay.
And they're not necessarily bad. It's just that they like specialize in like cunning and being like duplicitous, but like they could still be good. They're just like more apt to think outside the box to get things done. They have a ruthlessness.
And she didn't like that about you.
No, she was not about that.
Okay. There's so much I can say right now, but I'm just going to let that go, man. Just going to let that go. Yeah.
I know. I know.
Please, people, let us know what you think about this whole thing. And would you break up with a person for being a what?
Slytherin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I know. I think I'm not even a Harry Potter guy. So you're going to ask about John A. and Casey
going back and forth with the Harry Potter books. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, both Brad and Casey straight to the elimination.
Brad and Katie.
I thought that was pretty funny. Casey won. My bad. But for the guys though, some of the questions, that I thought were funny, the Tom Cruise movies, I thought that was pretty easy. I'm going to make the joke here about the Sexiest Man Alive and Darrell said Boris Kodjoe. And Boris Kodjoe is a very, very, very good looking man, but he's not the sexiest man alive because, it's done by People magazine and Boris Kodjoe's black.
Wait, Boris Kodjoe's a real person?
Yeah. Boris Kodjoe, listen, I am a straight male. I love women, but I am firmly able to admit that Boris Kodjoe is a extremely attractive man. Like, extremely attractive man. I'm sure people listening to this pod will be able to write in and tell you who Boris Kodjoe is and how attractive Boris Kodjoe. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to think what Boris Kodjoe off the top of my head has been in. That,
Station 19? Doing Hard Time?
Oh, I guess he is on that spinoff of Grey's Anatomy right now. Yes. He is on that spinoff of Grey's Anatomy right now.
Real Husbands of... I'm just going to put this out here. I think Darrell picks Boris Kodjoe because they look alike.
Whoa. Okay. I see what you did there. Okay. Interesting. See, it's funny though, because I would say that Boris Kodjoe, like I'm not saying Darrell is unattractive, but I'm saying that like Boris Kodjoe, I was like, but maybe that's just the role that Boris Kodjoe has always played in movies or like wherever I've seen him, like he's playing that dude, whereas like Darrell is Darrell.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know. It's interesting though. Interesting.
I hate to tell you this. I don't think Boris
and also,
Kodjoe
sorry, I feel
type.
like I should also clarify, like I'm making fun of People magazine and like the fact that it probably took them until Idris Elba probably in like however long ago. Let's go through the list. Let's do this right now. Do you have time to do this right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm like calling them out and then I'm realizing, well, I mean, maybe at some point they must have made Denzel Washington the sexiest man alive, right?
Or Will Smith might have entered the conversation.
True. I mean, I'm just looking this up right now, but I'm thinking like, who would have been like, obviously we're into the wave now where like Michael B. Jordan got a look.
Oh, yeah.
You could see that. But like how could you have Michael B. Jordan and then Paul Rudd? Like to me, those are different weight classes. Right. I'm going to need other people to step in and give us their opinion. But I mean, the 2021 Sexiest Man Alive was Paul Rudd. That doesn't, sure.
I mean, here's the thing.
Sure that's someone's type.
I think Paul Rudd is handsome and approachable, but I'm not sure that he oozes sex.
Right. Oh, here we are. Year by year. Is this what we want here? Too. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to speed through this. Okay. I'm going to speed through this. So the first ever one in 1985, Mel Gibson. 1986, Mark Harmon. 1987, Harry Hamlin. 1988, John F. Kennedy Jr. 1989, Sean Connery. 1990, Tom Cruise. 91, Patrick Swayze. 92, Nick Nolte. 93, Richard Gere and Cindy Crawford. This is the first year people broke from the tradition. Instead of naming Sexiest Man, they declared Gere and Crawford the sexiest couple. I'm guessing that's Pretty Woman, right? 1993. 94, Keanu Reeves. But technically, Reeves was never named People's Sexiest Man Alive. The magazine took a break in 94 and didn't name anyone. Reeves was named Sexiest Man Alive in 1994, retroactively in 2015. What? The rising star had started Speed. And so it makes sense that would have been the year. You can tell me to stop at any point, by the way. 1995, Brad Pitt. 1996, Denzel Washington. Washington was the first
4 people of color.
So, and 96 was the first year Black man was named to be the Sexiest Man Alive. 97, George Clooney. 1998, Harrison Ford. Richard Gere, 1999. Brad Pitt again in 2000. Pierce Brosnan, 2001. Ben Affleck, 2002. Johnny Depp, 2003. Jude Law, 2004. Matthew McConaughey, 2005. George Clooney, 2006. Making him the second man to get the Sexiest Man Alive twice. Gere doesn't technically count, as the first award was for Sexiest Couple. Technicalities here. Matt Damon, 2007. Hugh Jackman, 2008. Johnny Depp, 2009. Ryan Reynolds, 2010. Canadian content. Bradley Cooper, 2011. Channing Tatum, 2012. Adam Levine, 2013. Chris Hemsworth, 2014, David Beckham, 2015. What was David Beckham doing in 2015? Was he still playing soccer, or is he just full on Motto Becks at that time? I guess. The Rock, 2016, a full 21 years after people began the Sexiest Man Alive tradition, Johnson became only the second man of color to win the award. Wow. Blake Shelton, 2017. Idris Elba, 2018, John Legend, 29. I noticed a trend here. So from 2018, all of a sudden, Idris Elba, 2019, John Legend, 2020, Michael B. Jordan. They're like, oh no, we don't like that rock stat. And then we went to Blake Shelton. So then after that, we got to go Idris, John Legend, Michael B. Jordan, and now Paul Rudd. There's some people who enjoyed that, and there's other people that are probably like, what are you guys even talking about right now?
I mean, I let you roll because it just proves my point that this season's not that interesting.
Hey, we're making the pods interesting. I think the people might agree with that.
We're killing it. We should change this podcast name to We're Killing It.
Okay. Okay.
So
Tyrion thought a zebra was a fast animal. I thought that was hilarious. But anyways, go on.
So like we said, Steve and Casey win, and they come up with an excellent plan because they're not in the same alliance, but their targets sort of align.
They're adjacent.
They're adjacent. So Steve has a brilliant idea. He suggests to He suggests to Casey that they put up Jody and Kahutta to force them to use their life shields, allowing them to put up Derrick because they both want Derrick gone. And let me tell you, Stephen Casey, you are doing God's work. So once that is handled, where they differ is Steve is buds with Katie. And Katie said, I do not want to go against Kendall. Put me against someone you think I can beat.
Yeah.
Casey basically puts Steve in a jam and says, okay, what's more important to you? To get rid of Derrick or to protect Katie? Because if we're not putting in Kendall, I want to put in Ayanna. Which, in fairness to Casey, if you're Casey, you want Kendall or Ayanna to have to go in because they're probably, well, along with Jody, who you can't get rid of because she has a life shield, they're your targets. It's like Casey's making moves for herself, and I respect it. And basically what she does is she encourages Steve to make moves for Steve rather than moves for Katie.
I'm going to use this opportunity to applaud the women on this season because this is the second straight episode in which the women have come in and steamrolled the dude in this deliberation. Right? We saw it last episode in which Tina just steamrolled Darrell and got her way, and Darrell ended up putting in his whole room. And now in this instance, Casey essentially gets Steve to do the opposite of what Steve's friend wanted him to do.
But I also think Casey's being fair because basically Casey is saying like, okay, we just improved your game to take out Derrick. Something I'm going to catch heat for. You got to do something to improve my game.
But she also doesn't like Derrick. She said she also doesn't like Derrick.
And she makes that abundantly clear in deliberations. I'm just saying that like, you as Steve, you can't go in and be like, I'm going to get everything I want here. And part of the problem was what Steve did was Steve came in with a great plan when he said, let's nominate Jody and Kahada so they both have to use their life shields. But also, he didn't have a step two. Like, that was a great play, but he did not come up with an alternative to give Casey. Right? Exactly. Like, Steve should have said, okay, I don't want Kendall to go in, and I don't want Ayanna. Who would Casey want to see go in? That is not Jody, Ayanna, or Kendall.
Who are the actual options? Do you know what I mean? Like, who is it that Katie could beat?
I mean, and that is a problem. And like, I understand why Katie's salty, but also she did disqualify herself. Like, she should be a little mad at herself.
You disqualified yourself. You don't get to make a choice. Like, you disqualified yourself and sent yourself right into the elimination. You did that. You did that not knowing who was going to win the challenge. That meaning who would have the ability to put you in against whoever, right? Like, it's one thing if she knew, okay, well, I'm going to send myself right into the elimination because I know I'm good friends with John and John won. You had no idea who was going to win. It could have been your arch enemy that ends up winning. And then what? So dumb gameplay on Katie. She has a right to be mad, but she needs to be mad at herself more than she's mad at Steve.
Yeah. You know who they should have called in? I mean, this is something I noted when I was watching that I find tough with All Stars is that when we watch a season of the regular challenge, I more or less, and everyone knows more or less who the alliances are. Like we understand the breakdowns, but I don't have the lay of the land in this house. You know,
so it's like, why didn't they put in Jasmine
or John A? Because we know John A is sort of working with Darrell and is sort of in that alliance. But like, I don't know, like, does Casey ride with John A? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
So, deliberations, my line of the episode, great scene in deliberations. Ayanna takes off her dress to show that she was already wearing her competition gear, essentially throwing herself in.
Yeah.
And then Derrick is in full-on Napoleon mode, super mad.
Yeah.
His feelings are super hurt, and he says, you burned my life shields, which was a dirty move. First of all, it's not dirty. Second of all, as Casey says, were they your life shields or were they Jody and Kahada's? Which just huge bench reacts from everyone. Everyone is like
bench reacts, sound the reggae horns.
I like how MJ said suddenly Casey's Queen of the South. Like, and like she wasn't like, it's not like Ayanna who won and like suddenly it went to her head. It seemed like Casey's just spitting facts. It's not a dirty move. It's smart gameplay. They were not Derrick Shields. They were Jody and Cajadas. Right? Like, it's just, and like, I gotta say, we sort of skipped over this. I gotta give Jody and Cajada credit. They saw that they were nominated and they both were like, oh, we see what you did. Well done.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's super smart.
No, it's so true. I thought that it was so good because, again, Derrick is doing too much, as Derrick always does too much, right? But I thought the biggest issue for him is that you just got outplayed. And at the end of the day, he should have just quoted the wise words from The Wire, the game is the game, because he got. Yeah. Right? Like, you got outplayed. You didn't know enough of the game. And this is where this also differentiates from the regular challenge. Because I think on the regular challenge, the contestants do a good job of figuring out all the twists and turns and how to maneuver. Whereas we said it on the last episode. We're like, oh, well, obviously you just force out the people to use their life shields and then you can do whatever you want. Now it's not even really a thing. And now here we are.
We also, you and I, as it's been pointed out, this is our 14th season recapping the challenge. And the can't miss move is put two people who you know are friends or are in an alliance, put them against each other. Do that till they're gone, because you're having their votes. You like, it's a win-win. Just keep putting, like, sometimes people overthink it and do we're putting up a pawn sort of thing. No pawns. Just put up alliance members against each other till they're all gone. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
This is just like a nice, clean, straightforward game. Not nice or clean is Nehemiah having John A create a fake beard for him so that he looks more like Brad, because he's rooting for Brad. He starts bugging his eyes out like Brad, which is hilarious.
How would you rate his Brad impression?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'd give it an 8. How about you?
I agree with that. A solid 8. Solid 8.
And then this is all to Tarzan Boy by Baltimora, which has to be the oldest song we've heard so far, because that's like firmly 80s.
Sure. Okay.
I have a fun fact for you. I'm going to say a sentence that's going to blow your mind. Luke Perry's son, Jack Perry, is a professional wrestler on AEW. He goes by Jungle Boy. And this song, Tarzan Boy by Baltimore, is his theme song.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you.
That was a lot.
It was a lot.
That was a lot.
And his tag team partner is a walking dinosaur called Luchasaurus. And you know who plays him?
Now?
You know who Luchasaurus is? Austin from Big Brother.
What? That's pretty funny. Yeah. That's actually pretty funny. Okay. You learn something every day.
Brought it all back together.
Learn something every day. Shouts to Luke Perry, by the way. Shouts to Dylan McKay.
So the elimination is weight. There's more, where they have to put 1,000 pounds of weights on their ramp to bring a puzzle up sort of out of a slot, and then they solve the puzzle. Whoever does it first wins.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple. Ayanna, I don't want to say dummies Katie, but definitely there was some kind edits to Katie.
Yeah. Katie, good job, good effort. See you next year.
Thanks for coming out.
I don't know. Yeah. I'll say this much. Brooke Davis would never. Someone watching gets that reference. Other people don't. It's okay. We'll just move on.
Derrick has such a Napoleon complex. It's hilarious. All hyping himself up, saying like, I'm going to win. I'm going to come. I'm going to get everyone who put me in this position. Like, man, who is he? Camilla being this upset that he got nominated? Like, get over it, bro. Putting me in the weird position that I was cheering hard for Brad.
Yeah. I actually wrote close. Down, I'm like, can they both lose?
And like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I do not like Brad, but I like Brad infinitely more than I like Derrick. Like, it's light years different.
Oh. Agreed.
But thank God, your man's Brad wins, stroking that beard. And truly, I say this from the bottom of my heart, this show will be better without Derrick.
He's just doing too much, right? He's not as good as he thinks he is. He thinks that he's the boss of the show, and clearly he's not, because he was outsmarted that early on. Doing too much too early, right?
Outsmarted by a damn hand model.
It's a great line in the episode. An undervalued song right at the end, because I don't think that Katie and Derrick deserved this, but Boys to Men, Yesterday. That's a big, big, big song. That like hits me in the feels, you know, like, oof.
So we've heard our lines of the episode, yeah?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We've heard our songs of the episode.
Yep.
Ice Cube. I have to ask you, Sheldon, who killed it for you this week?
It's easy. It's Casey. Casey, you know, first off, to the clip they showed of her being terrified of heights, where TJ just first off, the snapshot of the 90s, because that's what it looked like considering TJ's outfit, right? The baggy skater boy clothes. Incredible flashback. But her just freaking out about the heights and like TJ snapping back at her, like, okay, then cool. That was a blast from the past to see. To overcome that and win, more power to you. To then steamroll your way, as I say, in the deliberation to get your way over Steve's way. Cool. Perfect. Great job. To dummy Derrick in the deliberation. Amazing. Great job. Just an all-around great performance by Casey. Casey, you killed it.
I mean, it's unanimous. Casey absolutely crushed it this episode. And you know what the best part is? Because like I agree with everything you said, but I have to add one more. She's not going to take any of the heat for this.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Nehemiah and Steve are the ones that are going to take the fall. Because Nehemiah can't keep his mouth shut. And Steve's already on the outside looking in. Casey just has to do, and you and I talk about this like every season, all the time. All Casey has to do is keep her mouth shut for a day or two.
Lay low.
She just has to lay low until the next daily elimination. And then she's fine. And no one's gonna take it out on her. All she has to do, and like people are gonna think I'm kidding, all she has to do is like make a big breakfast for everyone, clean the dishes, and like stay away from the alcohol for like 2 days. She's in the clear.
I think that she should completely flip that narrative and make all the guys make her breakfast and get the dishes, because she's the queen. Great job, Casey.
I don't know about all that, but where can the good people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Shell Alexander, on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. And of course, like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, especially subscribe on the YouTube page. I think it's under my name, Sheldon Alexander. But you can watch the videos, you know, have us playing in the background while you get your stuff done, you know, lots going on. We appreciate you all for watching, listening, sharing the love, sending in your comments and questions. We appreciate it.
We do.
John's TikTok.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JChidleyHill. And as Sheldon just alluded to, I now have TikTok. I've only posted one video, but there's going to be a lot more content coming as I'm in China. And you can find that at Jesus Shuttlesworth. Until next week, this was You Killed It.
You killed it.
On blast.